If you're new to Apex Legends or just wondering who the best legends are to pick, then search no more, as today I'm going to be going over who I feel are the best legends in each class, as well as my personal faves. As always, these are just my personal opinions based on the amount of playtime that I've had to play with each, and at the end of the day, you should pick whatever legend you feel the most comfortable with and is suited to your playstyle. So I'll be starting with my least favorite class of legends, Support. The support class of legends has never really fit my playstyle. However, when the classes were reworked, they did get a huge buff. Having a support character on your team gives the squad the ability to craft ally banners rather than having to risk attempting to grab them in the heat of battle. They also have access to an extra compartment on blue support crates that give smart loot healing items. For instance, if one of your teammates needs to be respawned at a respawn beacon, it will give you a mobile respawn. For this class, who I feel is the best overall, is also my personal favorite to use, and that's Newcastle. Newcastle's kit includes a perfect mix of both Gibby and Lifeline's abilities. His passive, Retrieve the Wounded, gives him advanced revive skills like Lifeline by allowing him to drag downed allies as he revives and protects them with his revive shield. This revive shield is strengthened by whatever knockdown shield he currently has equipped. Newcastle also has the passive ability Fortified, like Gibby, reducing incoming damage by 15% and allowing him to not be slowed by bullets. His tactical, the Mobile Shield, is great for closing in or gaining distance on enemies. It can be controlled by Newcastle to move to better angles or to cover teammates. This is great when an enemy gets behind you, as you can simply just push it the other direction. I personally like to use it in front of me as much as I can to give full protection for those no-cover pushes. Newcastle's ultimate, Castle Wall, is an electrified wall that will slow enemies who get too close, while also providing a fairly large area of cover for the entire squad. One of the best functions of this ability is that Newcastle uses this ability by leaping to an ally or a target area. The range on this is actually pretty good, allowing you to quickly get to and back up your squad in times of need, or even to escape and get a higher or better position. For my second to least favorite class, we have Recon. Now I know a lot of you may throw some shade, but I'm not hating on Recon Legends. I just personally don't like the playstyle of Recon Legends, but I am not doubting their capabilities in any way. Also, the ability to access survey beacons and temporarily scan all enemies on the map for the team is a big help when deciding on rotations. So for the best overall pick in this class, it was close between Bloodhound and Seer, but I had to go with Seer, and here's why. His passive ability, Heartseeker. This ability equips Seer with a heartbeat and sound sensor that can be toggled on and off. While aiming it, the circle will show sound waves on the edge when enemies are nearby, and will light up orange when looking directly at an enemy. Keep in mind that this persists through walls and other objects within 75 meters, though this distance has been altered many times, which I believe it's actually being shortened to 50 meters here soon. This ability gives Seer and the squad a form of constant scans without having to wait on a timer or cooldown, unlike Bloodhound. Seer's tactical focus of attention sends his micro drones forward in a tunnel shape, which also goes through walls, scanning enemies caught in the blast and interrupting heals, shields, and revives. The enemies scanned will not only have their positions revealed for the entire squad, but their amount of shield and health will be visible as well. This allows you to know who is weak and actually one-shot, and who may have popped a heal or shield swapped. Though Seer's ultimate exhibit can be easily destroyed and requires thoughtful placement, it is the king of scanning abilities. It creates a giant sphere of microdrones, again that goes through all walls, that reveals the current footstep location of any enemy within it who is moving quickly or firing their weapons. This gives the squad information on exactly where the enemies are for the entire duration of the ability, allowing you to make better informed pushes or flanks. Now for my personal favorite Recon legend, I gotta go with Crypto. Though he is by no means a good beginner legend, heck, I'm even still learning how to play him correctly, he is extremely fun to play. His tactical surveillance drone can be controlled remotely to scout forward, watch areas, scan survey beacons, pick up banners, and respawn squad mates at respawn beacons. His passive, Neurolink, allows the squad to also see anything the drone scans within 30 meters. Positioned correctly, the drone can also provide constant scans for the team without having to cool down like Seer, as long as the drone is not destroyed. Crypto's ultimate, the Drone EMP, can only be triggered while controlling his drone, but is extremely helpful for pushing heavily defended buildings or areas. Not only does it deal 50 shield damage and slow players caught in the blast, it also destroys traps such as Watson fences, rampart walls, and caustic traps, giving the team an opening. For my third favorite class, we have the Skirmishers. These are the mobility legends that allow you to have a mix of both offensive and defensive gameplay. Their class ability allows them to reveal the highest value item inside of care packages. This gives the team a better informed decision to risk going for a care package or not. For best overall, it was pretty easy for me to pick Horizon here. Her ability kit just gives her more advantages than the other Skirmishers. Starting with her passive, Spacewalk, Horizon has more control of her movement while in the air and is not affected by the fall impact animation. This allows her to drop from high areas without losing momentum, giving you an advantage over the enemy during chases and repositioning. Her tactical ability, the Gravity Lift, lifts players upwards and boosts them outwards upon exiting. This can be used in many ways, including gaining access to non-climbable locations or quickly repositioning. It can also be used offensively to force an enemy away from you, giving you the chance to heal, escape, or reload. It can even be used defensively to create door traps for anyone who dares to enter. On top of the capabilities of Horizon's Grav Lift, her ultimate is a black hole that pulls in all players nearby. The pull is stronger the closer that they are to the center of the radius, and keep in mind, the effect is weakened but still present on friendly players as well. The black hole is primarily used to quickly control an area, as it can pull off building doors and enemies will have to retreat or shoot and destroy the nuke device that is producing it. This gives the team a chance to either throw a barrage of grenades or push. For my personal favorite, I gotta give it to Wraith. Though I'm not a sweaty Wraith main, I do enjoy playing her the most out of all the other Skirmishers. She has the smallest hitbox in the game so far, so she is harder to hit, which mixes well with her mobility. Her passive ability, Voices from the Void, gives you verbal indicators of nearby danger, such as an enemy aiming their sights at you. This is somewhat helpful, but not nearly as helpful as her other abilities. Her tactical, Into the Void, allows Wraith to temporarily enter the void, granting her intangibility and a slight speed boost. This is great for repositioning in the open, closing gaps, and retreating. It can also be used simultaneously with her ultimate, Dimensional Rift, which allows her to place a portal from one location to another. This was recently buffed, allowing her to place them at a greater distance away from each other. The portal can be used to quickly rotate the team from one POI to the next to create a safe place for the team to retreat to, or to set traps and bait other players. For my second favorite class, we have the Controllers. Now, choosing an overall pick and a favorite pick for this class were both challenging for me. Out of all the different classes, I would say the Controller class is the most well balanced. Each Controller legend has their own unique scenario that makes them more viable than the other legends. They also get access to ring consoles, which do what survey beacons used to do, reveal the next ring location. I think this is a lot more fitting for them, since they're meant to hold and defend areas. So my best overall pick was tough to choose between Caustic and Catalyst. Catalyst has more offensive options, but when it comes to just plain overall who is more likely to help get a win, I had to give it to Caustic. Caustic also has Fortified like Newcastle and Gibby, so his chances of survival are much higher. His tactical ability, Nox Gas Trap, allows him to place up to 6 gas traps that activate when shot or when enemies walk nearby. These can be used to secure buildings, create distractions, or even conceal yourself in the cloud of gas, since the gas constantly drains the health of any enemy that comes in contact with it. They can also be placed in front of doors to block them from being opened. His ultimate, Nox Gas Grenade, is a gas grenade that can be thrown to cover a large area in gas. This can be used defensively to force enemies out of or away from an area, or defensively to conceal you and or the team. I saved Caustic's passive, Nox Vision, for last because it's dependent upon his gas. It grants him threat vision on enemies walking through his gas, and allows him to see damage numbers through walls on enemies affected by it. For my favorite controller, it was tough between Rampart and Catalyst, but I only recently started playing with Catalyst, so I wanted to wait to choose her over Rampart until I'm a little more familiar. Rampart is basically my second main legend, so obviously she would be one of my choices here. Her ability kit is one of my favorites, mixing both offense and defense. Her passive, Modded Loader, increases the magazine size and gives faster reloads on LMGs. For her tactical, she can place down 5 amped cover walls that give a damage boost to outgoing shots while deflecting incoming shots. However, the amped section will break after taking a certain amount of damage. They can also be used to block doors or windows, allowing you to lock down buildings. Her ultimate ability is a mobile minigun named Sheila. This minigun has the highest time to kill in the game over any other weapon and can easily wipe entire teams when fired through an amped cover wall. Not only can the minigun be placed down for others to use, but Rampart can deploy a maximum of 3 miniguns, so potentially each squad mate can have their own minigun. However, Sheila is also affected by Rampart's passive, so the miniguns are much more efficient when Rampart is the one using them. Last, but certainly not least, we have my favorite class, the Assault class. Choosing my favorite was easy, considering my main legend is an Assault legend. However, choosing the overall best was a little trickier. The Assault class abilities allow them to carry an extra 20 ammo per inventory slot. They also have access to an extra compartment on red Assault crates that give smart loot high value weapon attachments. So if you and your team all have blue extended mags, it would give you a purple one. My best overall pick for Assault class was between Bangalore and Ballistic, and the winner was Ballistic. Whereas Bangalore's kit can be used to force other teams to react and create openings, it takes a lot of skill and experience to execute her abilities correctly. Otherwise, they are extremely detrimental to the team. However, Ballistic can be learned fairly quickly, and his abilities will almost always be helpful for the team, even when randomly spammed. On top of that, his passive Sling allows him to carry a third weapon. However, the Sling weapon cannot take any attachments, so be thoughtful on which weapon to put there considering your playstyle. His tactical ability, Whistler, shoots a projectile that deals 20 damage and causes the enemy's gun to heat up as they fire. If they allow their gun to overheat, they will take additional damage and go into a hand-waving animation that creates an opening. The tactical ability button can be held to lock on to enemies, allowing a skilled Ballistic player to curve the Whistler around corners. His ultimate ability, Tempest, is perfect for pushing and wiping out teams. Upon activation, Ballistic and nearby teammates get faster reloads and movement speed on top of infinite ammo. During this time, Ballistic's Sling weapon is automatically equipped and upgraded to all gold attachments, which is why weapons like the Devotion, Havoc, and even the Car or R9 are perfect for the Sling. Also, keep in mind that weapons that can be charged will also automatically be charged, resource-free during Tempest if they are placed in the Sling. Now for my favorite Assault legend, most of you already know that it's Revenant. Revenant doesn't have the best ability kit, but his passive and tactical create a unique flanking playstyle that allows you to surprise and ambush enemies. His passive Stalker allows him to crouch walk at the same speed as normal walking and climb walls higher and faster. This crouch speed is useful for crouch strafing during gunfights, sneaking up on enemies, and moving faster while healing. His actual climb speed is not faster, but due to his extended climb length, he is not slowed when climbing medium or small ledges like other legends. So he technically does have a little bit more speed when it comes to normal climbs. His tactical ability Silence is a projectile that can be thrown at the arc and distance of an arc star. It sticks to whatever it touches when fired and remains for 10 seconds. An enemy that comes within its radius takes 10 damage and has all their abilities disabled for 15 seconds. This also creates a disorienting flashbang effect and leaves orange markings on the enemy's screen for the duration of the silence. His ultimate ability, Death Totem, is probably one of the coolest concepts in the game, but is also probably the worst practical use ability in the game. It's a totem that Revenant can drop that which he and his allies can then activate, granting them death protection. During death protection, your shield is deactivated, so you only have your health bar. However, if you're killed, you just return to the totem. Sounds cool, but the catch is that when you return with only half health and whatever shield you had before you activated it. Also, when Revenant first drops the totem, it gives a loud indicator that lets any nearby team know that you have activated it. If the totem is destroyed while you're away from it, your death protection is removed. Therefore, almost every time you activate it, you get killed upon returning from it, it gets destroyed while you're away, or a third-party team uses it against you because anyone can use it while it's active. So it takes very strategic placement and playmaking to use his ultimate. The good news is, word is going around that he is getting a rework, so hopefully his kit will be a little better after that. But enough of my Revenant rant. If you haven't already, tap that like button. Be sure to follow and subscribe. I appreciate the love and support as always, and I'll see you guys next time.